What's going on, my fellow A-plussers? Welcome back once again to a brand new episode. It is I, your host, as always, Adam Perez, and we're here to give you our review for Black Lightning. That's right, Black Lightning is back, even if it is for just a few more episodes, unfortunately, as this series is coming to a close rather quickly, if you ask me. I mean, I look down and I'm like, damn, we're 10 episodes into this season already? It just kind of crept up on me before I knew it, honestly. So I'm definitely going to miss this show. I still think it's an absolute travesty that this show is going off the air. No one can convince me that a show like Legends of Tomorrow should be on TV longer than Black Lightning. I'm sorry, fan of Legends of Tomorrow, if you are or not, that show does not deserve to be on longer than Black Lightning. So, conspiracy theory, who knows? What's going on behind WB and the CW? I don't know. But I will say this. If Painkiller doesn't get picked up, there's something wrong with people. Because I will be honest, and I even said this when I did the Painkiller spin-off or pilot episode review for you guys. I enjoyed the episode. I thought it was really handled well. I thought some of the great shots, some of the new features, the new city, the new town, the technology, the new characters. There's a lot of stuff that certainly works. That has a ton of potential. It wasn't an episode that just punched me in my face and was like, you're gonna get a Painkiller spinoff, right? It was like, okay, let's wait and see how this kind of turns out. I hope for good things, but I wasn't quite sure how strong the episode itself certainly was. Well, if you didn't think the episode was strong enough, I can tell you right now, Black Lightning having Khalil as a recurring character for the final half of this show, for me, continues to add and build up to show why Painkiller needs his own spin-off show. I mean, some of his scenes within the past 3 weeks, I feel like have been some of the best in this series, or in this season, I should certainly say. I mean, the martial arts is on a whole nother level. The swag from Jordan Calloway is like unheard of. I'm like, damn, I look at him and I'm like, can I have that physique? Can I have those moves? Like, I mean, the swag and the confidence of this man is incredible. How they're handling Khalil and Painkiller and stuff has been remarkable. I mean, goodness, the fact that last week alone we saw Painkiller whooping ass to a Wu-Tang Clan song, and then this week he's beating that ass to another dope soundtrack in Whoa by Black Rob from back in the day. I mean, I hadn't heard that song in years, but I remember loving it when it first dropped. So I really love how they're handling his character and all the additional goodness that they're showing us to be like, you know what? Even I, somebody that enjoyed the Painkiller pilot, that didn't think it was maybe the strongest, but certainly thought it was entertaining and enjoyed it for what it was, these extra scenes that he's have continues to build my confidence as to, man, they got to be able to see what they have on their hands here in Painkiller. So I'm keeping my fingers crossed, guys, that we definitely do get ourselves a Painkiller spinoff. But I continue to love how they use Khalil in here as a character for the Black Lightning series. His connection with Jefferson in here and finally connecting and talking with one another is a scene that I've really been wanting to see for a while, especially based off of just the journey that these two characters have been together, especially if you go all the way back to season 1, how much Khalil certainly looked up to Jefferson, and then Tobias getting his hands on him, the battles that they've had to go through, how personal it's certainly gotten between these two characters, right? And for it to kind of all come full circle and now let it be Khalil that's been helping out Jefferson this time. I think it's been great. And so even if it was a small conversation, it was definitely a meaningful one in a lot of ways, and you can definitely tell for both of those characters that they certainly needed it and definitely appreciated it. So it definitely was a moment that I certainly enjoyed, and I continue to love the fact that TC is keeping in contact with Khalil and learning some things of his own in here. So I really enjoyed the way that they handled that. And speaking of TC, man, we've mentioned this before, but I continue to love the friendship that TC and Jen have. Like the galls of this guy to call up Uriah and make things right for her and set up a date, and really having her in mind, wanting her to be happy and things like that, right? Wanting her to probably feel more normal than she probably ever has in a long time, especially with everything that Jennifer is going through as JJ, right? So I continue to really enjoy them as friends. You know, the fact that TC is going out of his way to kind of set up the date for her and Uriah, I thought was really cute and really awesome of him. But I did chuckle at the fact that Jennifer now realizes just how stupid she was for having an IG account. Like, your dad didn't tell you that 100 times, right? But parents are dumb, you know, at that age. I'm sure, you know, probably thinking she's her own independent woman at this age, still in high school. She can do whatever the hell she wants to, making those kid, you know, mistakes and thinking they're doing what they're doing for themselves and for the best, and come to find out you have no idea what the hell you're doing. That's exactly what this situation was. And Jennifer just now realizing her IG account is at fault for this. Yeah, you maybe if you actually listened. But I thought that was pretty funny. But I got to admit, you know, I really liked Uriah. I really liked Uriah. And to see, unfortunately, his fatal ending in here was really heartbreaking. You know, I know he wasn't around for a really long time, and I'm sure there was plenty more time for us to certainly connect with him as a character. But I feel like they did such a good job with him in the few episodes that he was in, especially JJ's interest in him and how really compelling of a really nice guy Uriah seemed to be for the most part. You know, I was thinking to myself that maybe Jennifer would have some type of happy ending for herself, but unfortunately, Tobias strikes once again. I mean, this is a guy that does not care, as cold-blooded as they come, is willing to make it as personal as it certainly needs to be. And now the fact that he's taken out Jennifer's boyfriend, or somebody that she clearly had eyes for, is just adding somebody else, adding himself, I should say, to somebody else's shit list, right? Like, if you thought Jefferson was coming after you, you're wrong, because now it's not just Jefferson, but it's probably Jennifer and the entire Pierce family, Tobias. So he definitely has, he's definitely picking a fight that he definitely doesn't want, but it's coming to him. It's coming to him. And it's just kind of crazy to see JJ struggling with her abilities, trying to cope and understand herself a little bit better, and now having to kind of deal with the death of Uriah, when she probably thought things were going to get maybe a little bit better and happier for her. Unfortunately not. So crazy moment. I was not expecting that at all, and I'm really sad to see his character go, because he actually kind of grew on me, to be completely honest with you. So I am fascinated to see what's going to happen with Jennifer, certainly moving over. Let's see here. Oh, first off, can I go back to Khalil real quick, because of the fact that it is, in fact, Jefferson. I think it's Khalil that mentions to Jefferson the idea of Looker, who we remember from South Freeland, I think maybe back in season 2 it was, when she was having the feud, was it with the Purdy, if I'm not mistaken, right? I mean, even Jefferson calls her, extremely racist sort of thing. We even see that in this episode. Like, one of the lines that she dropped about the two, what did she say? The two mandingos, one for the field and one for the house. I was like, oh hell no. And then all of a sudden Khalil's like, oh hell no. I was like, yes, we had the same mentality, we were on the same page. Yeah, now you have the right to beat her ass, and that's exactly what he did. She put up one hell of a fight, but you know, when you're going against Khalil and Painkiller, yeah, your chances are certainly slim. But it was great to see her back. I felt like we have not seen her since season 2, and I thought the way that Tobias for the most part really handled her in regards to putting this plan in motion, having, what is it, Officer Mason, I believe, be under her control, which we saw in here, Jefferson and Detective Shakur pulling off their plan and sucking that sort of puppet string out of Mason, if you will, that mercury that she winds up having. Really great stuff to see Looker in here, despite the fact that she's just one racist ass bitch. I'm glad that she got handled by Khalil, to certainly say the least. But speaking of Detective Shakur, I really enjoyed how they've utilized him this season, especially based off of the fact that he is Detective Henderson's friend, going out of his way to try and help Black Lightning where and when he can. Still being very cautious for sure. Interesting that Jefferson decided to go ahead and reveal himself this time around. I mean, what better way than now, right? I mean, we got 3 episodes left. Maybe you should let him in on your little secret here. But it does all go back to Ben Henderson. The fact that he trusted both of these people with his lives. It makes sense that despite Shakur maybe being a little bit hesitant, that Jefferson lied to him by omitting the truth. I think when you put that into perspective, that Henderson wouldn't have asked me to trust you, and that goes both ways. If he hadn't asked that, then maybe we'd be in a different situation. But them understanding who Henderson certainly was as a person, it's great to finally see them all on the same page and having all the truths kind of set out on the table before them. Quick honorable mention does also go out to Gambi and Lauren. We see them pop up here in this week's episode. I'm surprised that she's still working with him as closely as she does. But yeah, I can't say I'm surprised, because she did have that scowl on her face when she came over, right? Like, she definitely wasn't having it, to the point of her almost even leaving. But look, this is the second opportunity she's giving Gambi to talk to her. Last week's episode, and the fact that she even came over again, it's got to be a good sign for Gambi. So, they've already killed off Uriah. I'm kind of hoping that Lauren doesn't get killed off either, because I kind of want to see Gambi have a happy ending to his story. After everything that he's been through, having to redeem himself with the Markovian War, or I should say maybe even the Agent Odell stuff from like season 2 and stuff. Just the idea of what he used to do as part of the ASA, trying to make up for it and things like that, and being really focused this season. I really would like to see Gambi have a happy ending. So hopefully he gets the girl at the end. But I don't blame Lauren one bit for being a little bit hesitant. But now it seems as though they brought her into the fold too, because they wind up having Anissa reveal exactly what Tobias's plans have been, using her Monte Vista sort of technology and the people that work for her as well. I will say this: when it comes to Tobias, man, he keeps winning, it feels like. I mean, the fact that he wins his mayoralship, winds up getting elected. We have a new mayor in town, it seems like. May be short-lived, to say the least, but it's going to happen here. We do see that he comes to find out about Jennifer stealing the metagenes from Tobias's shipment. I almost feel like it's about, now that he's gotten that mayorship, maybe things now are going to start kind of falling apart slowly for Tobias. I mean, his metagene shipment has been stopped. Khalil has gotten to his bookie, if you will, so his account activity is probably inactive at this moment. So a lot of things are definitely going to start coming down around Tobias. And the fact that Tobias is going to try and take out Khalil, like, this isn't the same Khalil that you left for dead a couple of seasons ago, man. This guy is grown up and he's ready to whip that ass. So I am eager to see what Tobias is going to do here. And it seems very much as though we're finally going to get that Khalil and Ishmael fight that I've been asking for such a long time. But the one thing about Tobias that he does handle pretty well in here, that does make me interested to see how the series finale is going to wrap up, is the fact that he gives Chief Lopez the metagenes for her officers, no less, and not just the metagenes, but also the bracelet that nullifies the effects of the emitter that he's using from Monte Vista. So if there is anybody in this town that's going to have meta abilities, it's definitely not going to be the Jeffersons. The Jeffersons. It's definitely not going to be the Pierces. It's definitely going to be Chief Lopez, along with her army of handmade metas, if you will. So I will be interested to see when they take down this nullifier. A part of me is kind of hoping that maybe that's what Gambi and Lauren are going to find, where exactly the emitter is, to go ahead and take it out, and maybe give the Pierce family their abilities back. Maybe we have ourselves another war for Freeland here, with the Pierce family and Khalil facing off against, Chief Lopez and the rest of her police officers. So I'm really interested. I do think that, even unfortunately, while the series is wrapping up, I would not be surprised if the next 2 episodes of Black Lightning are just off the wall and just stellar episodes, or at least I'm keeping my fingers crossed. I don't want to get my hopes up too much, honestly, but this has definitely been a season that I'm enjoying. A quick honorable mention also goes out to Lynn's lawyer, who wanted her to take a plea bargain in here also. I love the fact that Jefferson does kind of butt heads a little bit with Keith. Him mentioning the fact that, I'm her husband or something like that. We're married type of thing. I think he says, well, I'm her husband. So, the idea of like him not wanting her to take the plea bargain, and then Keith's like, ex-husband. Like, you guys, she's your ex for a reason, sort of thing, right? Really getting ready to butt heads, but it seems as though Lynn is ready to make up by the end of this. I do find it interesting that Lynn is avoiding the getting remarried sort of conversation, if you will. I do find that interesting. I am wondering what that means for the relationships going forward. Like, the fact that Jefferson even brought that up is a little, I don't want to say startling to me, but it is one of those things where, just based off of the up and down roller coaster that these two have been in, just because of the fact that you do now have the information to set Lynn free, doesn't mean that everything's in the clear as of right now. You know what I mean? So I'm going to be interested to see if he tries to bring that conversation up once again, or even if he's going to have time to, especially with the way that this series is probably going to wrap up. But I've said it last week. I wasn't quite too sure if we're going to get a happy ending between Lynn and Jefferson. The fact, again, that he brings up this maybe getting remarried and her kind of avoiding it maybe makes me think that she's definitely not ready for that as of yet. And so maybe it's going to turn out to be a wait and see situation, or maybe Jefferson and Lynn just continue to be in the same situation they were when we first started off this series. I'm not quite sure, but I am fascinated to see how it's all going to turn out. But guys, listen, at the end of the day, though, I definitely want to go ahead and know your thoughts. What did you guys think about this particular week's episode of Black Lightning? We've got 2 more left. Are you ready for this series to wrap up? How much are you certainly going to miss it? Again, these are just my A+ opinions, but at the end of the day, I want to know yours. So let your thoughts be known in the live chat or the comment section box below after this particular video airs. But again, really enjoying this season for the most part. Salim Akil, I think, continues to outdo himself. I'm sure not everybody is too fond with maybe some of the decisions that certainly have been made, but the one thing that I cannot take away from Black Lightning is I feel like it continues to be consistent from season in, season out, and I don't think anything's less when it comes to this season either. So, guys, let me know your thoughts in the comment section box below, but we certainly will be back next week with a brand new review for you guys. But until then, do me a big favor. Take care of yourselves, take care of each other, and as always, keep it A+. I'll talk to you guys later. Bye.